So this is my my knife I want to sharpen. It's a standard forest or woodsman knife, and is it this? This is a Scandi grind. The Scandi grind, the kind of sharpening here, the kind of blade is a Scandi grind. So what do you need for this? Well, you need your whetstone. This is a Japanese whetstone. It's called a king whetstone, this one, and it has two sides, as you can see. And as all water whetstones, you should soak it in water, so it should be well submerged in water before you start using it. Your knife, your strop, a piece of leather, and stropping compound if you want that, and a pen, a marker pen. And don't forget coffee. So when you have whetstones, you're talking, or well, when you have sharpening stones, you talk grit. So this side is 1000 grit, and that's a more abrasive side. And on this side you have 6000 grit, and that is less abrasive. And you also have other stones. This is even more abrasive. It has a lower grit. You can say that the grit number goes from 300 up to 30,000. But everything between, I would say, 500 to 5,000 is what you need. You doesn't need higher or lower than that. Putting some water on this. Since this is the whetstone, you need to keep it wet all the time when you're working with it. What you can start doing is to paint the edge. I want to see where I am working on the knife. So if you haven't done this so much, it's easier to mark it. Okay. Now this is rather, well, it's pretty dull. So we put the blade like this, and you try to find the angle, and you put 2 fingers on the tip here and start working like this. And as you go, you walk with the fingers along the blade, so always have the contact here between the blade and the stone. Then we can switch it and see that we have polished away some of the paint here. So you have to find the right angle before you start working on it. You see I have a lot of slurry here, and that is what you want, because that is what will work on the steel. So then we are ready with that side. We can switch it, flip it over, find the edge. You can also look at the tip here, and you can see when you are touching the edge. And you don't have to have a very hard pressure here. There's a light pressure, and work your way to the tip and work your way down, always keeping the fingers at where the blade meets the stone. Make sure to have water on the stone. Now we have flipped it again, and now I think we are. I feel that this is okay. Then I flip the stone to the to the 6000 grit. And we do the same movement here. And 6000 is already a very, very fine grit size. It is not very abrasive. It is more of a polishing size, which means that you won't remove so much material on this side. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. What I usually do at the end is to take a few strokes like this. Always making sure to keep the blade at a right angle. And this is, I'm not an expert at on this at all. This is a science, I would say. There is a lot to learn about whetstones and grit sizes and the different types of blades and edges and so on. But now I'm trying to do what you need, a basic sharpening. Okay, so when you're finished, if you want to keep your whetstone in a good condition, you use this. When you're finished with one side, it can be a bit dished like this. Then use such a stone, and this is a flattening stone, which you use to flatten the surface. So you get rid of the dish shape on the whetstone. A bit on the other side too. Okay. It's time to strop the knife. And this is the final polishing of the knife. And then you use a piece of leather. It doesn't matter what kind of leather. You can actually use your sheath also. But now I have a dedicated piece of leather. And you can also use a stropping compound. This is a stropping compound which you put on the strop to add some polishing. It's a polishing agent, simply put. And then we just take the knife and do a number of strokes like this. This will polish the blade to mirror shape, mirror polish. This is sharp, razor sharp. Let's try it. You take a piece of paper. You see if you can cut the paper. Yeah, it's good. It's not perfect, but it's definitely much better. And of course, you don't need a razor sharp blade But it's so much more fun to work with a knife that is sharp. Also when it comes to you know, working your tinder or making sticks for the fire.